Hello everyone, Soberoni of G&A Reviews here, and the long-awaited time has finally come. A servant spotlight for Best Snek, Stheno. We'll be examining her stats and skills, as well as going over pointers on how to utilize her effectively, and an overall grade comparing her to how she stacks up to the other 4-star servants. I also have a spotlight for the other 4-star servant I've been ignoring, Siegfried, so do check that out right after this, but for now, on to Stheno stats. Stheno has a max HP of 11,518, which is very high among 4-star assassins and about average when compared to the other 4-star servants. Her max attack of 8,985 is also high for a 4-star assassin, but do keep in mind that the 0.9 times damage modifier that the assassin class has makes her effective attack 8,086, which is very low compared to the average 4-star. Taking a look at her skills, her first skill is Vampirism rank C, which has a low chance to decrease the enemy's Noble Phantasm charge by 1 between 60 to 80%, and it increases her own Noble Phantasm gauge between 18 to 27%, both depending on level. Her second skill is Siren Song rank A, which has a high chance to inflict charm on the opposite gender for 1 turn, with between a 70 to 100% chance of success, depending on level. And finally, she receives her last skill after a strengthening quest, Whim of the Goddess rank A. It increases the attack of all allies for 3 turns, between 10 to 20%, and it further increases the attack of all divine allies for 3 turns, between 10 to 20%, both depending on level. Taking a look at her passives, she has Core of the Goddess rank EX, which applies damage plus 300 and increases her debuff resist by 30%. She has Magic Resistance rank A, which increases her debuff resist by 20%, and she has Presence Concealment rank A+, which increases crit star drop rate by 10.5%. Moving on to her deck and Noble Phantasm, Stheno has a quick deck with Quick Arts Buster and a Buster Noble Phantasm. Her Noble Phantasm is Smile of the Stheno, which has a high chance to inflict death on male enemies between a 100 and 150% chance depending on level. It also inflicts charm on male enemies for 1 turn with between a 100 to 200% chance of success depending on overcharge. And finally, it decreases enemy defense for 3 turns by 20%. Taking a closer look at her cards, her Quick card hits twice, her Arts card hits once, her Buster hits once, and her extra attack hits 3 times. She has a Noble Phantasm gain rate of 2.26% and a star rate of 25%. And this translates into above average star generating, mostly thanks to the 3 Quick cards, and a very high Noble Phantasm gain due to the high Noble Phantasm gain rate that she has. For reference, her star generating is the same as Carmilla's, but she has even better Noble Phantasm gain than her. Alright, let's talk about the train wreck that is Stheno. I have no idea what the devs were thinking when they designed her. Maybe they realized that they made her sister too OP, so they took it out on her. But in any case, the flaws with Stheno are evident at first glance. For one, 3 Quick cards and a Buster Noble Phantasm. Now this kind of deck is probably the worst type of deck you can have, although it can work in some cases, for example Carmilla, but it really depends on your skill set, so let's talk about that first. Surprisingly enough, Stheno's skill set is pretty good. Her first 2 skills are the same as her sister's, and those are Vampirism and Siren Song. Vampirism is an incredibly strong skill that makes her already insane Noble Phantasm gain even better, and it stalls your enemy. And Siren Song isn't the best charm in the game, but it does have a very high success rate when it's max rank, making it really a semi-reliable stun. She gets her final skill after her strengthening quest, Whim of the Goddess, and it's basically a power creeped charisma, and it's very strong as it does a double buff for divine servants. A lot of servants have the divine trait, so Stheno makes for a good support with this skill alone. A 40% buff to Gil or Hurt is nothing to scoff at. And not only is Divinity a common trait for servants, it's a common trait among the top servants in the game, so keep that in mind. As far as the second wave charisma skills go, this is arguably the best one. As such, make sure to level it up first, followed by Vampirism, and then finally Siren Song. I should also mention that Stheno's passive skill game is on point. She has some incredible passives. 50% debuff resist is stupid. You'll very rarely ever have to deal with any debuffs hitting Stheno. So above average stats for an assassin, great skills, great passives, what's the problem? Let's talk Noble Phantasm. Now Stheno's major problem is her Buster Noble Phantasm that does no damage. If it were arts or quick, at least you could get some benefit by chaining it together with a regular deck, but a Buster Noble Phantasm is incredibly debilitating to her. In addition, it's pointless to level it because the instant death effect will never reliably trigger against enemy servants. The game just isn't built that way. The only positive effect on her Noble Phantasm are the defense debuff and the charm. Thankfully, Stheno's Noble Phantasm gain is one of the highest in the game, so she can spam this Noble Phantasm to ensure an enemy stays with a permanent defense down, and she can very easily chain stun a male enemy with the charm from her Noble Phantasm spam and her skill. And this is what Stheno is built to do, completely stall out and debilitate male servants. Unfortunately, Stheno's not great for much else outside of that. She has no defensive skills whatsoever, making her very vulnerable. She has some of the lowest damage among all 4-star servants in the game when you take into account her non-damaging Noble Phantasm and Assassin modifier. Her instant kill is pointless, and despite good star generating, she doesn't have any skills to make it better or more reliable like most star generators do. But of course, the biggest weakness Stheno has is she's just absolutely unusable against non-male enemies, as most of her Noble Phantasm and skills literally won't work. When it comes to team comp, Stheno functions best as a support for offensive divine servants like Gil, Medusa, Uriel, Herc, Caesar, Kintoki, Sanzo, Altera, and Arjuna, because the attack buff that she can give is massive. Other than that, you'll want to use her alongside other anti-male servants and stall servants like Uriel, Orion, Meb, Tamamo, Shuten, and Waver, so you can chain stun opponents and spam Stheno's Noble Phantasm. Finally, I especially recommend pairing Stheno with Divine Crit Servants, since they can take advantage of both her attack buff and star generating. Such servants would include Gil, Rama, Karna, Orion, Ku Prototype, Brynhilda, and the upcoming Raiko. Stheno's Bondcraft Essence is Radiance of the Goddess. It boosts the quick card effectiveness of all allies by 15%. Not bad, but you're better off focusing on improving Stheno's Noble Phantasm gain and debuff success rate. For a Noble Phantasm gain, I highly recommend using Fox Knight's Dream or Divine Banquet if you don't have that, Little Halloween Devil, Kitchen Patriciere, or Beast in the Moonlight, as those will allow her to Noble Phantasm more often. And if you'd rather focus on buffing her success rate for her debuffs, then go with Record Holder or Burning Tale of Love. Finally, if you want to take advantage of her star generating, then go for Imaginary Around, Be Elegant, or 2030, depending on whether you want to focus on damage, better star generating, or more consistency, respectively. Overall, Stheno's one of those servants that does a couple of things very well at the cost of everything else. She works wonderfully as a support role for your more powerful divine servants, and she's probably the best in the game when it comes to chain stunning and stalling out male enemies, thanks to her crazy high Noble Phantasm gain, making it easy for you to spam out your Noble Phantasm. However, outside of those two uses, she struggles to be even functional because her damage is abysmal, she has no defense, her deck is very awkward to work around, and against female and genderless enemies, she's pretty much useless. So she gets a C from me. She's hyper situational, which makes her good for more challenging story missions and events, hashtag Camelot is coming. But for everyday usage and in most scenarios, she's just a walking charisma buff and an actual liability before she gets that strengthening quest. And those are my thoughts on Stheno. I know some of you were expecting an even lower score for her, but sorry, she's just too good for the D. That belongs to Fionn. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and please do check out the Siegfried Spotlight, link both on screen right now and in the description. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing if you really enjoyed the video. Join the party over at our Discord, chill with us on Twitch, and follow us on Twitter. And I'll see you all in the next Servant Spotlight. Soberoni out. Later.